When your purpose or the reason is strong and very clear in your mind, I would say you will make a way to get there. The path may be difficult, or there may not be a path established already. You will make a path and you will get there. I had no exposure to what's happening. When did UPSC introduce this? When did UPSC remove that? Was not following anything at all. But I don't know. It was like I would classify myself to some extent as an impulsive person. Yes, there were some moments of doubt definitely when I failed my third or fourth prelims continuously. That's where the doubt started, or some regret, I can say. A woman to be in a civil service job or a position, there are multiple role models to look up to, luckily. There are so many ladies who have done well. By now, I had an idea as to what to do, what not to do for prelims, which was the most unpredictable and the difficult stage. Neglected CSAT and failed in CSAT multiple times, which was quite a silly mistake, me being an engineer and that to a postgraduate in engineering. That shows that even someone from IIT can fail in CSAT. It's quite normal. When the prelims preparation starts by December for freshers, and maybe by Feb end for repeaters, that is the same time where you should pick up CSAT. People usually have this habit that they start prelims oriented preparation, but they keep CSAT for the last moment. That will be a blunder given the kind of paper which is coming these years. Yes, the emotions will be high when you come out of exam hall and you know you didn't do well. It's not going to happen this year. In case of prelims, you'll know the very moment in the exam hall itself. Unless you are in the border, you'll either know that you're going to do it or definitely not going to do it. So in all the attempts where I failed, I knew I had done it wrong because of CSAT, where I had failed in CSAT. I knew that. CSAT, I continued throughout the year. When I understood that my aptitude skills were not good in that 1 or 2 years, I made sure that I started CSAT preparation from July or end or August itself and continued till the prelims came. That gave me immense confidence now to face CSAT. So it's a natural process which will happen with time. Nothing to worry. But that does not mean that your process has to be long. It can be short also. And the more focused and intense and efficient you are in preparation, the shorter the journey will be. And what worked was basically having good notes made out of the base material, limited set of sources, and revising it multiple times. The main thing, as you asked this question, is very important, was because the topics in UPSC syllabus interested me very much.
ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ದಿ ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವಾಡರ್ ಲೀಡರ್ ವಿನುತಾ ಅವರ ಬಾಲ್ಯ, ಅವರ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದ ಚಾಯ್ಸಸ್ ದಟ್ ಶಿ ಮೇಡ್, ವಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೌ ಶಿ ಗಾನ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಹವ್ ಸೀನ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲದರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಏರ್ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಸೇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಏರ್ಫೋರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ 10 ವರ್ಷ ಕಳೀತಾರೆ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಜರ್ನಿ ನಂತರವೂ ಕೂಡ UPSC ಅಂದರೆ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ನ ಕನಸು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ. ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಛಲ ಇನ್ನೂ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಛಲ ಹೇಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತು? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಜನರಲಿ 10 ವರ್ಷ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಆಯಿತು, ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದಿದೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರ್ಸೋಣ. ಅಥವಾ ಜನರಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸೊಸೈಟಲ್ ಸೆಟಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸೆಟಲ್ ಡೌನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ. ವೈ ಡಿಡ್ಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್? ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ IAS ಅಥವಾ UPSC ಜರ್ನಿ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಜರ್ನಿ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯು. So what is all that kept her going is something that we'll understand. Welcome back to all of you, and thank you so much that you're continuing along Squadron.
Thank you so much for calling.
The idea of civil services, you said after your engineering only it was there, and
Yes.
even after your interview in IIT Delhi, your mother had pulled you along
Yes.
for the exam.
Uh-huh.
So within you, was the idea of UPSC natural, or lot of forced in the idea from your parents? And if you look back today, do you feel you should have started in 2011?
Yes. So 2011, when I joined IIT Delhi for my MTech, rather 2009 I joined. So when we were coming back, my mother had dragged me to the exam hall. They had forced me to register also, but I was against it. So just because they told me, I wanted to not do it. So uh, now I entered the Air Force. I'm an engineering officer there now. I'm looking at the situation every day, how very less women are in the top positions and how it affects uh, the younger officers. That inspiration, the role model to look up to was missing. So I had no women air marshal or women air officer commanding to look up to and dream that yes, I can be her one day. So that inspiration was lacking, and I knew it will change, and started changing also by 2018-19 when the new policy for getting permanent commission to short service commission women came. But astrally, I had started thinking of civil service already, for the same reason that I was ambitious, and I understood that relationships and marriage are not my cup of tea. Somehow that never interested me, although I tried, uh, just because of parental pressure, societal pressure. Something was not matching, the pieces were not fitting. So that showed that my personality is not suited there. So it was like, in that sphere I had to put energy to do something, make something work. But in this sphere, it's like the more energy I put, the more energy I got back. So it was more reinforcing. So I felt maybe this is where my natural interests are aligned and I should go there. So I started my preparation by 2019 or so because of
So
this.
the idea of UPSC, you said, was something that came around, and since it was there, it was always there. And you see your short service commission time period coming to
Yes.
an end, and you saw that. Just before getting into that part, because you spoke of women and defense, whenever we motivate girls around in terms of aspirants that they can also try CDS, I've heard from some of my compatriots and some of my juniors also that defense women are not treated well. It's not the right place to be. You've been there 10 years. Would you want to disagree? Would you want to throw some light on that?
Yes, I would like to disagree on the mistreatment part. There's no mistreatment as such. We're treated very well, very respectfully, and same status as male officers who enter with us. But the difference comes when the promotions come and when it comes to permanent commission. Now that permanent commission thing is resolved, but still it's not 100% women. Not all 100% women who came with me got permanent commission, who continued after 10 years. Some of them have left now after 14 because they tried. There is something called board. 3 boards happen where only few are selected for permanent commission. So that is not completely rectified yet. So in terms of career progression, I would say there is a problem, but treatment as such is very good. There is challenge definitely. One thing is you have a male dominated you
Set
know
up completely.
setup where most of the top leadership is males, and the subordinates are all males. There was no women airmen till now. After the Agniveer scheme came, there was Agniveer Angana, something like that, announced, where women will be taken in the non-officer ranks. Till now, women were only in the officer ranks, so all my subordinates are also males. So will they
The
accept me as
subordinates
their
are
leader?
males and the higher heads are also
Yes.
not.
So to be accepted by the subordinates is also a big thing, because they say respect is commanded, not demanded. So they coming from a much, relatively different background. I would say rural background, not so economically good background. They are more traditional than others, and having seen only males in their family take the say, make the decision, now they're suddenly seeing a setup where women is commanding them. How acceptable it is for them also, that was also a challenge.
So, if I'm
Yeah.
right, that was also a time where India had the first full-time women defense minister.
Yeah.
Nirmala Sitharaman was defense
Correct.
minister. So, did that make some impact, or it was just a time idea there?
Yes. Due to the separation of politics from military in India, uh, we rarely get to meet the political lot, the political leaders, or discuss politics. in the military. However, in my own personal interest, whenever I used to look at Nirmala Sitharaman, Madam, being the defense minister, and when I saw her, uh, chairing a commanders conference where she was the only lady, and all the top leaders sitting in uniform, listening to her in that line of chairs were all men in uniform, um, who were attending that sort of inspired me. That image inspired me. So it also told me that unfortunately you have to step out of the military now if you have to dream that big. But yes, as you told, it's very important to have a role model who can inspire you. In military it was in some or to large extent missing, except in the medical branch. In medical branch you could see women air marshals, um, who were already decorated. They had so many medals, commendations, but not in the engineering or the flying branch. As you see, the fighter pilots, the women fighter pilots also came much later,
Correct.
2017 or 16. Till then there was only helicopter pilots and transport aircraft pilots being women. The fighter pilots came much later, 2017 or so. So yeah, having a role model helps definitely.
So that's largely the defense journey, and from there the UPSC journey has taken off, and this been quite a journey that you have gone through there. We have seen that initial touch of how UPSC actually took off from there, but if you have to stick to that point, motivation is something that is primary for UPSC studies, and it requires you to be very fresh in your mind, very open, accept a lot of learning. It requires you to sit down for hours and study, and you knew
Yes.
that. Having worked for X number of years, more than 5, 6 years in service, having earned in while that time period, now to decide that you want to go back and to do UPSC, not anything else but UPSC, and the time and the grind it requires. Was there any point of doubt, can I do it? Or the question, why UPSC? Something else that can keep me cozy, comfortable.
Yeah. Uh, I think getting out of the comfort zone is in my character always. It has always been my character. Like challenging myself, uh, and trying to prove others wrong when they say you can't do this. So I have seen that atmosphere now in the military where only men are commanding us. Nothing against them, but I meant to say that there were very less women leaders. So it sort of challenged me and it sort of moved me, I think, very strongly, uh, that it made me understand that in order to change things, in order to make policies probably that will change this setup, will have to be in such a position. And that could come through civil services or politics. Anyway, politics was not my, I don't think it's my cup of tea now. So I picked up civil service and the grind which you mentioned. When your purpose or the reason is strong and very clear in your mind, I would say you will make a way to get there. The path may be difficult, or there may not be a path established already. You will make a path and you'll get there. Like I was already 30 plus, much about 30 when I came out of Air Force after 10 years of service. So that was also a challenge, that I didn't have any example before me that so and so officer or so and so person at this age, having already spent a decade in another organization, has now started this and cleared it also. I didn't have an example also to pacify me ki ha, this is possible. Yes, I got doubts at some points of time when I failed 4 prelims continuously. The first one, I would say, not so serious attempt, but the next 3 attempts where I was very hopeful and very sincere about the preparation, where I failed. Then some doubts, yes, crept in, but it was not that I will never be able to do it. The only question was, when will I be able to do it? How long more will this take? As I mentioned, I was already 30 plus. So for me, it was time was also very crucial. But I knew I'll do it. But the only question was when. So it was in my hands to shorten it. Fortunately, in 2024, I modified my strategy and the journey concluded in a fruitful way.
So, if you have to specifically look at that time period when you actually took the decision of UPSC and when you started, how did it exactly happen? Did you seek for some guidance? Did you find out how things are at this point of time? Because UPSC had gone through a lot of changes. 2011 was a different scenario where there were two
Yes.
optionals and altogether different idea. 2013 onwards, mains had a thorough
CSAT
change.
also was introduced, yes.
15 CSAT became a compulsory paper. So, fresh out or being in the defense services, thinking about UPSC, and how did you seek that initial support
Yeah.
or that initial start?
See, the atmosphere in defense in the military is so different that it's like a pond where you're a frog and you can't see the world beyond it. There's so much to do there itself. You're occupied even after working hours. You have the something called secondary duties. You're the mess in charge. You have to organize parties, and parties are as
Serious.
strict or seriously taken as your workplace things. There's a time you have to report and all that. So I had no exposure to what's happening. When did UPSC introduce this? When did UPSC remove that? Was not following anything at all. But I don't know. It was like I would classify myself to some extent as an impulsive person. So one fine day, sitting in my room in Jalhalli, where I was posted from where I got this release from SSC finally. I was still in Jalhalli 2019. So one fine day, I suddenly decided that I should step out and join some coaching institute, at least to get exposure to the world outside, to see what people are like who are attempting UPSC, what is their mindset like, at least to look at them. The idea was not to learn, the subjects from the coaching institute. I wanted to see the atmosphere. And I was badly in need of that because in the military, even if one wanted to, there was no such mindset in anybody to sit for hours and study with books. You have this feeling inside that you're already an officer and you want
Yeah.
comfort and you want to enjoy. Nobody wants that grind. Most of them feel, ab ho gaya, bahut kar liya, let me enjoy now. So for that atmosphere change, I joined. And I think that helped me to a large extent because I saw people how serious they were. And I saw people who had cleared come and give talks in my own institute, where at that point of time it seemed like something, unreachable or unimaginable to me. But somewhere I believed that just because I had seen the setup in the organization where I was, where women were not in the top echelons, and I realized that in order to reach there, I have to do this. I held on to it and persisted, I can say.
I very much understand where you're coming from, but again, my question goes back to that critical point because generally we see a lot of ex-defense people coming and wanting to study.
Yes.
But they're at a different stage. They would have done Group C level kind of an idea. I'm sorry, in terms of defense, where they say,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
true.
they come
That's
up
true.
and they say, I want to serve, and probably this is for their career purpose. You've been an officer, and you've commanded. You've had a hierarchy.
Yes,
and
yes.
You've been an officer, and you've earned well as such. And then to say, I want to take this up. You're coming in an officer, so 2011, you're already 24, and then close to 10 years of service. So at that age to say, I want to study, I want to sit in a coaching center, I want to listen, want to understand. For a 22-year-old graduate today, it is quite different, quite tough,
Yes.
because they are looking at a job, they're looking at different aspects.
Yes.
But somebody who's done 10 years of service and then to come back and say, I'll sit in a coaching center, it's quite different. So how is that Vinutha? Where is that Vinutha coming from? Where is that energy or idea coming from?
Very nice question. I would like to draw an analogy here. Like in geography, I studied something like, push and pull factors of migration. If you want to move from point A to point B, either it has to be a push factor that pushes you, or a pull factor which attracts you from that end. So in my case, I would say the push factor was very strong. As I told, I was not having a role model to get inspired, and I didn't see any, progression given the same scheme of things.
No role models in civil services also?
Uh, Civil services, yes, but now I'm talking about the previous organization where I
Correct,
was.
correct, correct.
And one more important push factor which came was, you know, some sort of void. Like there were this, grand bang, parties in the forces, which are happening quite frequently. You're bidding farewell to an air marshal or an air commodore. These parties are very grand, and they are there for a sacred reason also. You meet all the ladies of the station, everybody decked up, wonderfully dressed, and your own course mates, juniors, seniors. It's an occasion to enjoy, celebrate, etc. I saw people, mingling happily, enjoying, but I always found myself lost in those parties. It's like almost like I never could make a connection with anyone. Usually, the connections are made in informal settings, in any group. If you want to feel belong to a social group, it's the informal settings where you develop that bonding and feel related, connect at the intellectual level or whatever level. I never found that connection. And I sort of found myself lost. And I didn't like that, display of whatever status or that expensive clothes and parties or something. I found a very serious mismatch between what I internally, deep down value and what the people around me were happy with or valuing. I could not connect to people. So I think that was one strong push factor. With all due regards to the forces, a very noble job and a very solemn duty they do. But I saw it only as a service. I did my bit now. Now I have to move on. So where should I move on was civil service. Yes.
Correct. Now, just probably to give it a very analogy or a practical touch, we're now looking at Vinutha choosing a career option where she's been at the service where she has a lot of comfort around her, a lot of support around her, a hierarchy. Military comes up with its own benefits, a canteen, parties, and all
Yes.
that you say. And now probably Vinutha will get into a district with bare minimum facilities, struggles at the ground level, everyday people coming and shouting at you, orders coming from the top, orders coming from the politicians, from a place where you had no such and people would listen to and probably orders come, but they're very official orders. Here it is multiple.
Yes.
ಜನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂಗಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಕೂಗಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯು ಲಿಟ್ರಲಿ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಅ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಒಂದು ಗಂಟೆ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದು ಹೊಡೆದೊಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ತರ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ಐ ಹರ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ನ್ಯೂ ಇಟ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ವೆ ಮೆಂಟಲಿ ರೆಡಿ.
Yes. I would say why, because it all depends on, I think, one's priorities in life. Um, People who have this priority to, a peaceful life or family, they would like very less in the workplace, very minimal, very less. Let me go back and stay with my family, spend time with my family. Let me be peaceful and comfortable in my life. But it was not the case with me. Anyway, I didn't have a responsibility of children. I didn't have the duty of a wife or a mother. So I had all the free time in the world. Rather, I would be happy if I get more challenges in my way, because I want that to occupy my mind rather than something else. As they say, a very beautiful proverb, empty mind is a devil's workshop.
Correct.
I would rather like challenges in my
Keep you
work,
occupied, keep you alive.
newer challenges, bigger challenges. Sort of, I can say it drives me. I would look forward to it, and I am a person, I would say, who can communicate to people better, in a better way. So I think I'll be able to. I always felt I will be able to handle it. I didn't see it. The thing is, I didn't see it as a challenge itself. Uh, Rather, it motivated me that yes, I'll have so much exposure or so much, connection with the society. In military, you're totally cut off from the society. The moment you go outside the date, the moment you go outside the gate, nobody recognizes you much. They don't know what you're doing, how you're contributing to the nation. But here, there is visibility. Not that I want to be noticed, but you also feel like you have served your own people, your own village, your own city. Probably that drove me more than the other, worries that would be naturally a part of it. Yes.
Wonderful. So it definitely speaks a lot about how you have gone through all the finer details and still accepted that idea. Now let's get to the journey of an aspirant that you become after all this, and then you are an aspirant to take up. So this exam is not a one-stage exam. This exam is not a 100 meters dash. It's a marathon. It has
Yes.
3 stages. You have to go through each one. Every time it's a cycle that repeats. You knew that if I don't clear once, then I have to come back each time. So very briefly, summing up your journey, you said 4 continuous prelims you don't
Yes.
clear, and then first mains coming up. 4 continuous prelims not clearing means you had to wait for 4 full years once again and again.
Correct.
That's quite a journey to take. And was there any point of time while this happened that you felt, why did I choose this? Probably I could have done something else, anything else?
Yes, there were some moments of doubt definitely when I failed my third or fourth prelims continuously. That's where the doubt started, or some regret, I can say, because I was already in a very good job in the military, an officer, and the permanent commission scheme or policy had come towards the end where I was about to leave. Had I decided, I could have opted for that also, and easily got permanent commission and continued there till I retire comfortably in the military setup, big cantonments, big campuses, green campuses, status of an officer. So many moments of regret and so many doubts that will I be now left nowhere from such a place to nowhere. So that was there. But then I tried to convince myself by remembering why I came there in the first place, why I chose to come out, and why I wanted to do this. I kept reminding myself that. And when I reminded myself that I didn't feel belong there, and I didn't feel a connection, and I didn't find a role model there. So
So you
that
found a role model
continued.
here. You found a role model here in civil services that
Okay,
this is
so
someone I want to emulate. This is somewhere I want to reach. This is my position of dream.
so for a woman to be in a civil service job or a position, there are multiple role models to look up to. Luckily, there are so many ladies who have done well. I would say one such lady, IS officer, who I could look up to and get inspired from. Unfortunately, there was no one close to me in my family or relatives. People who have such relatives are lucky in that way because they can get inspired from them. Because they can get inspired from a very close person, and it sort of helps them take a decision quite early in life. So for me, I didn't have anybody like that in my close relatives, although my parents wanted me to do this, but I didn't have any role models as such. So there was this colleague of mine, or I can say a senior of mine, whose mother was in the civil services, who was an IS officer and who was a very famous IS officer, retired now, has done wonders. To name, it's Miss Shanta Sheila Nair, IS, retired, Tamil Nadu cadre, 1973 batch IS officer. Um, Her son was a pilot in the Indian Air Force. He is still there and he's a group captain now. He's in the Surya Kiran aerobatic team, which is performing today in Mysore. Yeah, so I was in the same squadron as he was, where he was a pilot and I was an engineer. So I came to know that so and so senior's mother is a IS officer, and he being my senior, we also look up to our seniors, and he had this distinct personality, and I came to know that his mother is so and so, and she was a very well-known name in Tamil Nadu. She is a very well-known name in Tamil Nadu. So probably I got a role model there. Yes. So that sort of inspired me, seeing her powerful, speeches and personality in YouTube. So after I came to know, I, started researching about her, the internet. I saw some videos on YouTube. That really inspired me. Yes.
Wonderful. So now get to the process as such. How do you plan? How do you prepare when you said this is a 3 stage exam and I'm preparing And we all know UPSC needs integrated preparation. You don't only prepare for
Yes.
prelims, you don't only prepare for mains. So how did you lay out your plan for yourself? How did you plan for this 1 year of preparation?
So, as I mentioned, I failed in my first four prelims. So, in the fifth attempt, I cleared everything in the one go. So, by now, I had an idea as to what to do, what not to do for prelims, which was the most unpredictable and the difficult stage. For some reason, I was confident of the main stage because my essay writing skills were always good. Mains being subjective. An interview I was never worried about because I had this work experience and that confidence that I can face a panel of interviewers. So prelims, what went wrong in the first four attempts was that I gave too much focus to GS1 in certain attempts, neglected CSAT, and failed in CSAT multiple times, which was quite a silly mistake. Me being an engineer and that to a postgraduate in engineering, that shows that even someone from IIT can fail in CSAT. It's quite normal, and you should work towards your aptitude improvement, because if you neglect CSAT, you may lose years. Your GS1 may be excellent. I had got 100 plus in I think 2022 attempt, 89 in 2023, where 75 was the cutoff for general. But because of my CSAT performance, I lost out in both the attempts, which I could have easily,
Yes,
cleared.
so when you look at these two papers, now specifically sticking to prelims as such, the idea of GS and CSAT, now that you have cleared and you've understood the idea, what mistake you think you are making in? And understanding CSAT has gone more on the tougher line, while we have seen
Yes.
the transition from 2011 onwards, especially 2015 after it became a qualifying paper. How effective should the balance be between GS and CSAT? When should anybody start for CSAT?
Yeah.
Or probably there is a larger idea that engineers CSAT is a cakewalk.
Yes.
And we were told, and I myself being an engineer, I knew the shivers we had about CSAT. So how do you see these three things?
Okay. So your question was, what should the
Balance between,
strategy,
yeah.
and how engineers or anybody should look at CSAT. So balance, I would say you can continue with mains preparation up to December or November, because later on, once the prelims is done, now UPSC has cut down 1 month between prelims and mains. You'll not get time for anything. Your notes should be ready, your optional should be prepared, and subjects which are not going to be in prelims you should cover first now. So you should do all that now. When the prelims preparation starts by December for freshers, and maybe by Feb end for repeaters, that is the same time where you should pick up CSAT. People usually have this habit that they start prelims oriented preparation, but they keep CSAT for the last moment. That will be a blunder given the kind of paper which is coming these years. Especially 2025 also was not as tough as 2023, but was still tricky compared to 24, if you can see. So your aptitude has to be good, and the paper is changed or has been changed in the right spirit, I can say, because your aptitude is what helps you solve problems, real world problems, I will say. So start along with your GS paper 1 prelims preparation itself, whenever you start parallelly, by December end or January if you're a fresher, and maybe by February if you're a repeater. And if you're weak in maths, and if you are somebody who didn't take maths after 10th or so, then don't hesitate to take coaching, I would say. Take help, because you don't want to waste a year and regret the decision of not taking help when you had to. So I would say take help, practice, improve your speed, accuracy, and also for CSAT, I would suggest and strongly recommend having a strategy also, not just aptitude. A strategy also is necessary. It's like you're sitting in the exam hall. If you practice maths and the maths is tough, like what it was in 2023, you have to quickly switch to RC. And if the English part that year is tricky or difficult, come back to maths. So you should be flexible. Don't go with a fixed mindset. And the aim should be to cover maximum problems, at least 55 to 60 in the present setup of paper. The paper might change tomorrow, but in the present setup where there are 80 questions, your speed, accuracy, strategy, everything should be such that you should attempt accurately about 55 to 60 questions in 2 hours. That's when you're surely clear CSAT. This is about CSAT. And yeah, engineers especially tend to take it lightly, and I have paid the price of it and learned my lessons. So it doesn't matter whether you're engineer or humanities background, took maths after 10th or not, didn't take maths after 10th, you should give it the time it deserves, rightfully. That's my suggestion.
Wonderful. So you've gone through the grind of prelims. Having not qualifying for prelims itself is a lot of mental agony to go by.
Definitely.
But every time you did not clear, what was it like that you took it? Now, because you'll get to know your results within about a month of prelims.
About 15 days, yes.
15 days,
Yeah.
a month of prelims. Now it's 10 days, 15 days.
Correct.
So in that sense, did you focus, say, I have not cleared prelims, so let me study prelims once again, and this time I have to? Or was the idea that I know I have done some mistakes, so let me focus on a thorough main strategy and then prelims? So what is your, here
Yeah.
you're also giving a suggestion to many of them
Who are
who
in
don't
similar
clear
situation.
prelims,
Yeah.
and how should they look at? What did you do? How should they look at?
Yes, I would say I was quite rational in that way. Yes, the emotions will be high when you come out of exam hall and you know you didn't do well. It's not going to happen this year. In case of prelims, you'll know the very moment in the exam hall itself. Unless you're in the border, you'll either know that you're going to do it or definitely not going to do it. So in all the attempts where I failed, I knew I had done it wrong because of CSAT, where I had failed in CSAT. I knew that. So I already knew before results itself that it's not going to happen.
That's it.
And the emotions used to be strong for 2-3 days. Why did I come here? Why did I do this? Why couldn't I have been comfortable with whatever I had, which was equally good? So many doubts and all. And it's important to understand that this is a wave of emotion, and it will come to you, and it will also pass. It's not going to stay at the same level. The emotions will not be as intense after 1 week of the setback as compared to the day you face the challenge. So the emotions pass gradually. The faster you recover, the better. So once you've recovered now, how you recover is, I think time helps there. You should understand that it's a process. This is how everyone has gone through, and the same thing is happening to you. Now, after these emotions are low, your rationality kicks in again, and you start to analyze where you went wrong, why you went wrong. And now, as you said, I analyzed that yes, CSAT was the thing where I did wrong. So, in one of the years where I was way behind in CSAT, I immediately joined a CAT coaching. My strategy was that if I have to attempt a paper of CSAT, I should be prepared for CAT. Only then I can do this. I can say, smart that way to understand that UPSC demands a notch more. So in the month of August itself, I joined this because I understood I need more practice.
That's
Then while I was preparing for CSAT, the other part of the day, I was focusing on mains preparation for the general studies, not the prelims preparation. I understood that it's the CSAT that's troubling me, not the GS1. So the other preparation I kept intact for mains rationally. By December, I switched back to prelims mode. CSAT, I continued throughout the year. When I understood that my aptitude skills were not good in that 1 or 2 years, I made sure that I started CSAT preparation from July end or August itself and continued till the prelims came. That gave me immense confidence now to face CSAT.
So when you're now suggesting this for a very young aspirant who's watching out, do you suggest that if you feel CSAT is tough, join CAT coaching? Should that be a 1-point idea? Or
Yes.
should you look at it differently?
So I will say the demand of UPSC in CSAT paper is somewhat similar to what IIM's demand through their CAT exam. Very similar questions, very analytical. No more formula based, no more profit and loss questions, ratio proportion questions. So it's good to look at CAT PYQs if you cannot afford coaching, if you cannot go because of the distance or no connectivity, whatever. Online sources are available. Students can look at PYQ analysis videos on YouTube, freely available, of CAT examination.
So what you're effectively suggesting is, if you're looking at CSAT and if you're feeling it is tough, prepare for something above that.
Yes.
So definitely this will
Yes.
become doable.
At the same time, it's not like CSAT is tough, so you want to improve your maths. So you started studying 11th standard maths book, 12th standard maths book. That won't help you because that has no relation with
Correct.
what UPSC demands. 11th and 12th maths are more to do with formulas,
Correct.
algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus. I mentioned CAT because the CAT aptitude questions are very much similar to what UPSC is asking these days in CSAT. So yes, CAT is a better way to hone your skills much sharper than what UPSC.
Probably to say I never want to face that failure once
Yes.
again. Very interesting. Now, we've always said that CSAT requires a very strong approach. Now, from the time to what did not work to what worked, your GS has been consistent.
Yes.
So, how did you develop that consistency in GS? Because, again, it's not an easy task to
Correct.
score very well in GS. People have struggled year on year. CSAT has been a natural obstacle for somebody, but somebody is clearing CSAT continuously. But GS has become an obstacle for many.
Yes.
How did you develop that consistency in GS? Such good marks in GS. What do you
Yeah.
think is the mantra?
I would say in the first or second attempt, my scores were okay. In the third attempt onwards, my GS1 scores started, I can say, skyrocketing. They were very good, GS1 prelims. How? It's because of the cumulative knowledge that I had gained. So it's a natural process which will happen with time. Nothing to worry. But that does not mean that your process has to be long.
No.
It can be short also. And the more focused and intense and efficient you are in preparation, the shorter the journey will be. And what worked was basically having good notes made out of the base material, limited set of sources, and revising it multiple times.
So limited
This is what-
sources, repeated revision, good notes,
Yes.
and thoroughly working on the same.
And to add, initially I was mistaken, and most of the freshers are mistaken, that UPSC means newspapers, current affairs. But when you sit in the prelims, you'll understand that 70 to 80% of the questions are from the static portion,
Correct.
are from the core portion, which are there in the
economic,
reference books or the base books. So, and you focus on current affairs for General Studies 1 will also not fetch you that much good marks. Rather, focus on revising your base notes, what you have prepared from the books, multiple revisions, limited sources, and some minimal current affairs also, which you can get through daily newspaper reading, which is definitely mandatory for UPSC aspirant.
Wonderful. So we'll come to the idea of current affairs as such, because it's also part of mains and also interview. But after 4 continuous disqualifications in your prelims, you go through mains and one shot you clear. And then your interview, you're through to the interview also by one shot. So what do you think worked so well in mains that it took 4 years for prelims to work?
Yes.
But then mains gone through. And we always say mains is a real challenge.
Correct.
Given till then students are used to 3 hours, 100 marks exam. Largely as science students, we are all used to derivations, formulas and less writing. Here 250 marks in 3 hours is actually a mental challenge, also a physical challenge.
Correct.
So one attempt you have gone through. No experience as such, and effectively you're looking at first attempt mains, first attempt interview student. That's how we see. What do you think worked for you?
Yes. Speaking about mains first.
Yes.
I always had this confidence in my essay writing skills, subjective answers. And given that I had prepared now for 4 years, while I was getting stuck at prelims, till December every year, my focus used to be on the mains part. So I had written multiple tests. I had appeared in all India level mains mock tests, assuming that I'll clear one day. So that was a good thing. I believe I did. I'm sure I did.
And probably that's one thing that you need to suggest to all youngsters who
Yes.
don't clear prelims.
Irrespective of your clearing prelims or not, start writing mains mock tests, start attempting UPSC previous year questions of mains, and be ready for that day where you will finally clear prelims, you have to directly go to the exam hall and give your mains without experience. You can make it in the first attempt. There have been candidates who have got double digit ranks in the very first mains after failing continuously for 3 4 prelims. They are much better than me in terms of the rank and the marks they've scored in mains. But this is how I did. I was already prepared in terms of the mock tests and all, which I was doing since 4 years. And my essay writing skills I had improved. Seeing at some YouTube videos of Shubhra ma'am, her style of philosophical approach to essays, that helped me. So I got above average marks in essay. That helped me get into the list. And polity GS2 was strong because of multiple revisions of my notes, which I had made from Lakshmikant and other sources. So these papers helped me get into the list.
Again, the transition, you've been a science student, engineering, then
Correct.
IIT, that again is a higher level of research oriented study of post graduation. Then 10 years of Air Force, which has no connection with this kind of a study.
Humanities, yes.
And then you come back. How was this adaptation possible?
To
And
the
how
subjects
important
of
was, yes,
UPSC.
to the subjects of UPSC, to the depth with which you have to study, to the dynamicness of the subjects that you have to study?
So here I would like to say that apart from a journey of cracking this exam, it's also a journey of self transformation and also self discovery. So what I discovered during this journey was that I started loving these subjects which I picked up to study when I studied UPSC, like polity, history. It really really interested me. It kept me awake, you can say, so that even in the midnights you can see me going through these books. And in the weekends, instead of partying with my friends, I wanted to rather stay back and read these books. And in fact, during my 11th or 12th, I had also spoken to my parents for some reason that I want to take up arts or probably something like that, because I had understood that I like such subjects. We had social sciences in high school also. And my parents had refused because they thought, as any other parent, typical Indian parent, that I should have a
So,
backup.
Bangalore, South Karnataka
Correct.
parent.
As engineer. So they refused that idea. So I think I had some inclination already, which was only expressed now. And I started loving the subjects as I studied one by one: international relations, society, polity, everything interested me immensely. So this was a process of self discovery also. So in your preparation journey, suppose you're there because somebody forced you to be there, and you will discover after a year that these subjects are not interesting to me. Probably you'll that's how, and that's why people drop out after a year or so. Like, you, if you ask me to go and do a MBA in certain subject today, I will also drop out after a year because maybe those subjects will not interest me. The main thing, as you asked this question, is very important, was because the topics in UPSC syllabus interested me very much.
The core interest developed, and that's how it carried
Yes.
across very well. So, how important is the role of a mentor in this process?
I took the help of my geography teacher, Indrajit Pariyar sir, throughout my preparation, not just for geography. For geography, he provided the material and the coaching and the knowledge, whatever. But for the other subjects and the failure, the setbacks, etc., he was always there as a backbone. I took economic guidance from Basava Uppin sir, but I never interacted with him personally. I've never met him. But Indrajit sir was available in Bangalore to me. So whenever I felt setbacks, I called him, and he never, his approach was very good in the sense that uh, he didn't pacify me emotionally.
Acha.
He always gave a strategy. Okay, this is done. It's okay. Take time. Take 1 or 2 days. Then start this. He used to give a strategy to me. What to do next? Okay, accept this. First of all, in this journey, when you fail, you have to first accept that. There's no denying. You have to be honest with yourself. Yes, I have done wrong. I have been lacking here. Once you've accepted it, go back to the same process. And what to do next, that part he used to guide me. And when somebody gives you that guidance, what to do next, then you'll forget what happened yesterday. So he forced me to look forward rather than look behind, backward. So that helped me definitely.
Wonderful. So from there you move on to the interview, which is the personality test. You said for the 4 years you did not clear prelims. You did work on mains. You were doing a lot of
Correct.
answer writing, essay writing. Somewhere behind your mind, was interview preparation always there, or you had this raw confidence and innate confidence? I've been an officer for 10 years. This is something can I ace. How was it on both sides?
I would say I admit it was a raw confidence because all through the 10 years, the job I did was to talk to people because in the forces, it's not engineer's job for engineer. It's again management, man management, human resources management. You're talking to people, talking to seniors, you're talking to subordinates, convincing people, persuading people. So it was something which I had done for 10 years, and I was not at all worried about the interview stage. The only aspect which had worried me was to keep the current affairs updated because I would face a board of accomplished, highly accomplished people, and they'll have their own interests in different fields. And if they ask me a question on that, I should not be caught off guard. Although it's not a test of knowledge, it's already tested in the mains. But they'll expect some basic awareness of current happenings around you. So that part, I made sure I read the current affairs. We had a small group. Used to discuss that current affairs daily, brainstorm. So that helped me. And other, the confidence of communication and all was already there. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, what was that point which stuck in your mind where you felt I'm in and I'm definitely going to be there?
Yeah. So I've scored rank 906 in 2024 attempt. Not a very good rank, I would say, because I would like to improve it. I've given another attempt. Mains, after I did the mains papers and came out of the exam hall, yes, you can't be sure in mains. I did well, it's going to happen, or no, it's not going to happen. Geography was a little tough in 2024. That's where my marks reduced a bit. And in GS papers, some of the papers I felt were very good, but I had got less marks in them. For example, GS 3, where my marks were less, were expected it to be very good. So there, I would say I didn't get the correct, feeling. I thought I have done well, but it went the opposite way. But in interview, I was right. I thought I've done really well, returned exactly the same way. And that was because the questions the panel asked me were more or less related to my background, which was defense, and which I could easily expect. And I was already well prepared. So I handled it well. So the moment I stepped out of the hall, I was very sure that yes, it will work for me.
Very nice. So, the idea has done. You've seen success as such. That particular moment when you knew results had come. Explain that moment for us.
Yeah. So, having been through all these stages and the interview went well, I was somehow sure my name would be in the list this time. Um I was in the forge, so confidence is a hallmark of a forgy. So I was confident that I would be in the list, but I didn't know where. Would it be top 100, bottom 100, whatever? I didn't know. So when I opened the list, I typed my roll number, and I found it. I was not surprised that my number was there. I sort of knew that my name would be there, but I was disheartened with the rank I got, which was 906. I expected a much, much better rank. However, at the same time, there was a relief that there is some meaningful conclusion to this journey after a lot of years. And my parents were seated next to me. If I tell the rank to them, yeah, they wouldn't understand what it means. So what I had to tell them was I got a rank, but a not so good rank. I may still get a service, but may not be exactly my top three choices, which is IAS, IFS, IPS, maybe the fourth or fifth choice. So they were a little disheartened, but later on they understood I may get so and so service, which is also equally good. Indian Revenue Service, income tax now, which is also very respectable service, and my parents would like me to rather settle down at this stage because they see it as a more comfortable job for a woman, which they always wanted me to be in a comfortable position. But I
You
want
continue to
to,
be the rebellious kid.
yes, I continue to aim for number 1, 2, 3 of my choice, and I've given my attempt again. I'm waiting for the result. Let's hope for the best.
Awesome. So, a result has come. You've achieved a rank. You know you are getting a service, and that too not a service somewhere at the bottom.
Yes,
IRS was one time a top three position. People were
correct.
choosing it. Now that it's a faceless service, why didn't they thought of I've gotten something. It's a good job. It's a career service. Let me settle. Why didn't that come?
Again, I would say it's always been in my nature that even after being a military officer, I continued this journey. So, settling down and feeling happy was never in my DNA, I would say. So, I always try for the best in whatever, be it in studies, rank, or be it in service. Always, I would advise even the audience, always aim for the best. You may end up at the second best, but you should always aim for the best. That's my mantra. Nothing against IRS, nothing against any service. Uh, it's your own self that you're challenging. I'm not happy with my marks. I would rather put it that way rather than saying that I'm not happy with IRS. So I would like to challenge myself.
Wonderful. So, now that you've gone through, you've achieved something, you had to make some course corrections.
Yes.
What different did you do this time to say that I should reach the top? So,
Yeah.
from where you achieved to what you have come through.
So I attempted this mains 2025. I cleared the prelims. The
CSAT was not a
results.
trouble this time.
It was a tough paper, but thanks to 2023 exposure, my mindset was already ready
Prepared for
for
that.
that, prepared for that. So I didn't panic. So I handled it okay, and I did well, and wrote my mains also. Results are yet to be announced, so I don't know what works and what doesn't work. Whether the strategy will give you better
Yeah.
marks or the same or worse.
But from your side, what did you do differently?
Yes. If you ask me, then I will say I improved the structuring of my answers. The content was already ready with me. Better content I had last year also. I worked on the structuring part, writing point wise answers, giving examples in each point and not hollow, statements, supporting my statements with examples, data, reports, quoting the sources of the data. And the introduction and conclusion has to be attractive and stand out from the other copies. I paid attention to these things. Unfortunately, my geography paper went well this year. Uh, Yet to see the results, but hopefully it went well. The difficulty of the paper was relatively lesser this year, and I was better prepared for my optional. Some uncovered syllabus I could cover, be prepared, and could finish the paper on time. Paper completion itself was a challenge in my optional last year. Completion of paper was not much of a challenge, I can say, this year. So let's hope for the best.
We always wish that. So, the optional choice is also an interesting optional choice.
Yeah.
How did you zero in on your optional choice?
I would say it was because during my coaching, one of the best mentors we had there was in geography. So that started drawing my attention. And geography is very interesting also, the physical geography,
Conceptual.
especially the phenomena of, cyclones or monsoons or whatever, especially the climatology part, were very interesting to me. And for an engineer, geography, I
A
would say,
science
has
student
a,
within you, which
yeah,
naturally came up.
and it's the ideal mix where you have humanities also in the form of human geography, which is part B of both paper 1 and paper 2, and part A is the physical geography. So there's an equal mix of objectivity and subjectivity. So perfect for an engineer who does not want to get into the grind of electrical engineering again, mugging up the formulas, but yes, wants to also write objective answers. So it's a perfect mix for an engineer, I would say. And I had a good mentor, so I went for it. And later on, I took support of 500 plus program by Himanshu sir and Shabir sir also, online basically, but offline, face to face, it was Indrajit sir who always helped me. Yes.
Great. So, that largely sums up where you have reached and how you continue to as such. Before going on to what next as such, little more on this process now, when we see how the process has been shaping up and how the exam has been opening up, what is your suggestion to all those young aspirants who are looking at preparation, those who are in preparation?
I would say have patience, persevere. It's not going to happen in one day, overnight. Uh, as they say, a diamond becomes a diamond because of the process it's subjected to. So, the person you are today, the same person cannot get the rank tomorrow. That has to be a totally different person who's going to get the rank. And that different person will come only after that years of grind. And how many years? It's up to you. How sincere you are, how efficient you are, how focused you are, how less distracted you are. It's all what determines how shorter the process will be. Have some support, emotional support. Stick to only few friends who will genuinely support you and not probably demoralize you when you fail. If if your parents support you, well and good. Otherwise, assure them through your actions that you're gonna do it one day. To wait for it patiently rather than be critical. So I think continue doing what you're doing. If you're doing something wrong, please change your strategy. Listen to topper talks, see what they did, where they went wrong. Apply that, and I think you can surely make it.
Very nice, very thoughtful, very insightful idea as such, specific to the larger idea of preparation. Idea of essay and ethics playing a very important role. How much do you think philosophical essays need to be blended along very well? What specific work did you do there? And how much of ethics orientation that you bring along?
Yeah. Essay was my strength. As I mentioned, I learned this strategy from Shubhra Ranjan ma'am's lectures on YouTube, wherein she introduced us to a philosophical approach to essays. You know, expressing yourself without hesitation, with emotions, with a flow. Uh, it should not be a general studies answer like essay where you write point wise and going political, economical, social dimensions. That will become a very mechanical, kind of answer writing. So I watched YouTube videos of hers and learned my skills from there, and I think it worked for me. For ethics, there are multiple sources I followed. I followed topper copies of and notes of Madhav Agarwal, rank 16, 2024, Mudita Bansal's test copies, rank 44, 2024, her case study approach especially, and some selective reading from Lexicon, latest edition. All these things, and some mentorship from Sajal sir, who was with Sarthias, I believe. So all these things probably have worked this time. Last time I had around 90 plus marks, and not very,
Not very bad.
um, not very bad, but not good, not too good either. So I think I've improved that mistake in this attempt. So waiting for the results. Yeah.
So the results have come. You're prepared for another attempt. You have written mains. You were waiting. There's a lot of. But when you look at your journey from the time you found yourself, probably engineering and afterwards, we see a pattern that you have not been happy or you have not been very contented
Yes.
with everything. And every time you have seen for something more. There's a lot of out of flow, out of pattern idea of a woman asked to settle, not wanting to do that. A woman had 10 years of good service, not wanting to continue, coming back for another challenge, challenging herself once again. How long will this challenge continue?
It's, I can say, a very difficult question, and something which I myself may not have the answer right now. Uh, Let me see. I'm going to start this journey from December. I'm going to enter the Indian Revenue Service. And if things work out in my favor, I may upgrade my service when the results come. So I would like to work in as many sectors I can, not just restricting to one department. I would like to grow in different departments, understand how the machinery works in the administration. Because in the military, it was a very small area. Although it's a very important area, it was a very well defined and a small area. I'm a person probably who likes to see all areas of machinery, how the administration works, and I would like to know things better. I would like to learn more, and probably I will say I'll go with the flow now. Now that I've come where I've dreamt to be, I'll go with the flow, and by probably another 10 years or 15 years, things will be clear in my mind, whether I want to continue, whether I want to settle there, or change, or upgrade, or retire, or switch to different stream. Probably
Okay,
I'll get
that
a
option
better
is also
picture.
open.
Yes, because we see so many civil servants these days retiring after 20 years, 15 years, taking voluntary retirement and going out. However, I don't plan to do that. I would rather like to continue in the government service, but in what way and what form, let me see. Time should tell me, and I'm hoping
So
it will tell
if
me
I want to
soon.
just bite a bullet at this point of time, should politics be also an option?
I would say politics is like, there is a proverb about politics. When you ask me the question on politics, it reminds me of that. If learned people don't govern or don't rule, it's the idiots who will take over. So I would say politics is a responsibility of every learned person, and
Who better
politics
than
is
you? We're
something.
having experience of an Air Force, seen system at
Yes,
different now,
yes,
bureaucracy for probably some years. You
yes.
have enough role models who have come from bureaucracy doing well as
Correct,
politicians.
correct. But I will
Somewhere back of your mind,
I will not say for sure right now. I will see as the flow takes me, because the problem with politics is you are not a permanent executive. You are an executive, but the opportunity you get to actually implement your ideas is only 5 years where your government is in power. If you're in the opposition, yes, you can, uh, push the ruling party, you can persuade them, but you can't implement your own ideas. The best, thing about bureaucracy is your permanent executive. You're there always. And as they say, the devil is in the details. So you're the one who makes the bylaws, you're the one who makes the rules to implement the act, which is only a skeleton. So you being a civil servant and a permanent executive can do, I think a lot to change things, to reform certain things in the set framework, which is the act made by the legislature.
so probably penultimate question before we go to the last one. So is there a bucket list? So ಒಬ್ಬ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರು, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯಿಂದ ಏರ್ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ದೇಶದ ವಿವಿಧ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. Now getting into service and then also wanting to get into the top three. Foreign service is your option too, so
Yes.
very much possible you get into foreign service. Is there a bucket list? I want to go to UN, I want to be here, I want to be here, then only possibly.
I would say, yes, I'm yet to, thoroughly research what are the avenues available to civil servants that way. But I would definitely like one exposure to international organizations and also work in the ministries, as, secretary, or what do you say, under secretary, joint secretary, any level. Ultimately, I would like to reach there. That is the ultimate dream of any civil servant, to reach a secretary level post. In the years of service which I've left, given the age, I would like to reach that level of at least the joint secretary or additional secretary. That's the ultimate dream, yes. And meanwhile, also serve in whichever cadre or whichever state I'm posted to, do justice there also, contribute to the people of your own city or your own village in whatever capacity, then move to the ministry. There I can learn better, I can get good exposure being in the center. That's the bucket list, I would say.
That's a real thoughtful and a very broadly worked out bucket list that you, rather than putting out so this and this. Finally, ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಒಬ್ಬ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಹೆಣ್ಮಗಳಾಗಿ, ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಹುಡುಗಿಯಾಗಿ, ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಒದ್ದಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ, ಅಥವಾ ಕನಸಿದ್ದು ಕನಸನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ತಾವು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋವಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ, ನೀವು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್, ನೀವು ಕಂಡಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಜರ್ನಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಏನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಪಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಪಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ವೆನ್ ಐ ಕುಡ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್, ಯು ಟು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ a normal girl from a normal family, not a very rich family or aristocratic family, I probably challenged, I can say, my parents and my peers who said you can't do this, you can't do that, and went outside my comfort zone. ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಝೋನಿಂದ ನೀವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೀವು ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಎನಿ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್, ಬೀಟ್ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಬೀಟ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್, ಬೀಟ್ ಜಾಬ್. ನೀವು ಕಂಫರ್ಟಿಂದ ಆಚೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆವಾಗ ಗೆಲುವು ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟು ಕಂಫರ್ಟಿಂದ ಆಚೆ ಬರೋದನ್ನ ಕಲೀರಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಾಲಿಟಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಾಲಿಟಿ ನೋಡಿ ನೀವೇ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಪಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಪಡಲಿ, ಫಸ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೌಡ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿ. ಈಗ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಇದೇ ರೋಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸೊಸೈಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವೊಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯಾಗಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿ, ಮುಂದೆ ಬರೋ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನೀವೊಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Wonderful, ma'am. So, we hope that a lot of young women across the country, across the state, across the places that we are around, continue to dream, achieve all those dreams, and probably one day stand up and say that you can also dream. That's somewhere, that's a real contentment that comes across. So it was wonderful listening to you from the word go, every aspect that you have challenged, because to do that in itself and to go through that journey and to speak to one who has gone through that rebellious journey that you have seen, I don't want to nominate as such, but still.
But I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, definitely it is. Definitely it is. In larger sense, you have miles to go, and miles to go where you still have a lot of inspiration to give a lot generation. So wishing you all the very best. IAS may not be a destination. Many more things that you will definitely
Yes.
see, and we hope to see. Bye. So that was Squadron Leader Vinutha G R. Squadron leader for now, an IAS, a diplomat at some point of time, and many more things to come in her career, and many such talks to hear from. India for IAS brings to you this story of idea. So we say, know their story, write your story. So this story is an amazing story in itself. Starting from Mysore, has gone across the country and probably come back to Karnataka to now go around the country, around the world probably. So in that sense, a wonderful discussion that we have seen till now. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for once again.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a pleasure to be here with you and talk to you in this podcast. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.